Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the review of Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk and Opetaia, Mairis, Briedis. What a card it was. Look, I didn't see the whole card, I'll admit. I wasn't up till about 5 o'clock. I think the actual card started at 2. But from what I saw, an awesome event. Geez, they do it well over there, don't they, the Saudis? Just amazing. The event, for once, actually lived up to the hype. The undercard was good, couple of upsets in there. Opetaia, of course, winning that vacant title, his vacant title back, and of course in the big one, Usyk getting the win over Fury. So let's start. And actually, we also had the upset with Asasia, I think it was. Kasasia, I think I pronounced that right, with the stoppage win over Joe Cordina. So congratulations to him as well. But the two main fights, let's start with Opetaia and Mairis Briedis. Well, I know it was just me, but it was almost a carbon copy of the first fight. We had Opetaia starting very, very quickly, looking all class. The first probably 6 rounds, I thought he absolutely dominated, to the point where I thought Briedis was being so outclassed and he was getting banged up. He broke his nose, that I thought that Briedis could be out of there in 8 or 9 rounds. That was the dominance that Opetaia had over Briedis. Just like the first fight, Jai looked great in the first 6 or 7 rounds, and as I said, it was just a repeat, and then it started to turn. There was a clash of heads. Jai had his nose busted as well, and you could tell straight away that he was in a little bit of trouble. And then just the whole fight just flipped on its head. It was just quite amazing. As I said, for those first 6 rounds, Jai showed lightning quick speed. He hunted Briedis down. Briedis was on the back foot. He looked awkward. He looked tentative. He looked anything but a former world champion. I don't know whether it was just that or Jai looked so dominant, but Jai was coming forward, had the high guard up, probing with the jab. He was jabbing to the head, jabbing to the body, throwing good shots. And as I said, Briedis just did not have any answers to what Jai was doing, to the point where he was backing up. And as I said, looked very tentative, very reluctant to engage, didn't really do anything for the first couple of rounds. Then he started to try and engage Jai, but was continually beaten to the punch. He was beaten in the exchanges, and just everything that Jai was doing was working. And to the point when the first, I think, 6 or 7 rounds, I think I was being generous to give Briedis 1 round. A lot of the people watching the watch along hadn't given him a round up to that point. So, but then, as I said, the headbutt occurred. And the whole fight just turned. Briedis started to come forward. He knew that Jai was in trouble. Jai, you could see, was struggling to breathe. It just totally upset his whole thinking, his whole game plan, his composure. Just everything seemed to turn. And all of a sudden, within the space of a couple of rounds, Jai was the one that was hanging on and looking desperate. And we hadn't seen that from Jai since that actual first fight. And with that, of course, there was reasons, because he had the broken jaw in that one. And slowly but surely, Briedis started to get on top. He started to close the range. He started to get in close with Jai, started to bang to the head, the body, and was actually getting the better of the exchanges, which is something we just hadn't seen earlier in the fight. And looked like the first fight. Credit to Jai. He hung tough. He hung in there. I probably wasn't in agreement in his game plan when he was under pressure. I know he's a warrior. I know he wants to fight. I know he wants to prove to everyone his toughness and everything like that. But I just wasn't, as I said, wasn't in agreement with his game plan when he did get hurt, because he tried to go back at Briedis, which just completely worked into Briedis' hands. Briedis is not the quickest guy on his feet or with his hands or anything like that. But with Jai not moving away and trying to engage with Briedis, just worked right into his hands, and he was having success. And there were a couple of shaky moments in the last couple of rounds, I will say, and especially that last round, Jai was hanging on and was very, very happy to hear the bell. But it was a strange fight, but just so oddly like the first fight that we saw, a couple of years ago. But again, to his credit, Jai hung tough. He hung in there and was able to hang on to that lead in the end. So look, full credit to both guys. Will we see a third fight? That's probably a question. I doubt it. I've got a feeling that Briedis might retire after this. He's 39 years of age. Not quite sure what he has to offer the sport now, especially if Jai doesn't give him the rematch. As for Jai, I think the only way is up for him, of course. He's got fights with maybe Bill and Smith, maybe Badu Jack if he's still around. You know, there's a couple of guys. There's Zordo Ramirez, of course. So there are some fights out there for him, and I just think the fact that I got no doubt that he's looking at the heavyweight division, no doubt whatsoever. But I've just got a feeling after a second scare against Briedis, they might just pull him back just a tad and allow him to have maybe 2, maybe 3 more fights in the division, and then maybe give him a 6 to 9 month spell and try and build him up into a proper heavyweight, a bit like Usyk has done over the journey, and what Spinks did, what Holyfield did, and just do it naturally. Because I'm still a little bit worried about the chin at the heavyweight level. He has been rocked, and look, they're extenuating circumstances, by the way. In the first fight he had the jaw, this fight he had the nose, so I get it. But he did look a little bit shaky in those last couple of rounds. But I just worry at heavyweight, he just might have to work his way into the division and get the size right. Usyk looked great today with his size, and I've got a feeling Jai might have to do the same. But as I said, I'd like to see him another 2 or 3 more fights, build the body up, maybe work a bit more on his power, because you're going to need it at heavyweight. So look, all that aside, look, if it wasn't for the headbutt, it would have been an absolutely conclusive win by Jai. I've got no doubt about that. So maybe I'm just grasping at straws a little bit with the fact he battled in the last 3 rounds, and Briedis had some success. So but look, full credit to both guys, absolute warriors. That's twice now they've beaten the living suitcases out of each other. And if Briedis does decide to retire, then all the best to him, and for Jai, the only way is up from here. And finally, Australia has a male world champion again, because we've had a bad start to the year. We've had George Kambosos, the Maloney twins, of course, Tim Tszyu, Michael Zarafa, Liam Wilson. Has not been a very good start for the males in 2024, so it's great to finally have a male world champion to go along with Shanika Johnson and Sky Nicholson, who will have the female belt. So on to the main event now. What an event this was. I think it's just the first time I can remember in a lot of years where the fight has measured up to the hype of the build-up. And both fighters showing tremendous heart, tremendous skill, tremendous power, you name it, they showed it. So I thought the first thing for me, I loved the get up from Oleksandr Usyk with the outfit when he came in into the ring with the hat and the robe and that he had on there. Tyson Fury, must admit, was a little bit more low key. He actually wore the same outfit that he wore in his last fight against Ngannou, which is a little bit of surprise. I thought he might have chosen something a little bit more, something with a bit more get up. But he was very conservative, which is okay. You know, he had a job to do and didn't really care about the outfit, obviously. But the build up to the fight, you could, through the screen, you could hear, or not hear, you could hear and feel, the excitement in the crowd, and it was just, I don't think anyone really knew what to expect. And then, of course, the bell rings, and I was really surprised from the word go that it was Usyk actually pushing the pace from the first round. Tyson Fury was on the back foot. He was happy to snap the jab out. Good movement. And look, I thought Usyk won the first 2 rounds, even though they were very, very close rounds. I was really impressed with Fury's movement. As I said, his hand speed, his jab was hitting the mark, but Usyk was just taking his time, waiting for the moment, landing some good shots to the head and body. He was really targeting that straight left to the body, followed by that overhand left as well. And I thought he had success in the first 2 rounds. And even though they were close rounds, I gave them to Oleksandr Usyk. But then Tyson Fury, he woke up, the sleeping giant, as they say. He woke up from his slumber, and I thought dominated the next 4 rounds. I thought I was going to have to eat my words, because I thought that he would be the one coming forward. Usyk would be the one boxing, and Usyk would outboxing, but it was the exact opposite. And as I said, in those next 4 rounds, Fury just boxed beautifully. I thought at one point he actually had Usyk in a bit of trouble, and I thought he might even be able to get him out of there. Such was the dominance of Tyson Fury. Beautiful jab, he was throwing beautiful shots to the body, and he actually made Usyk look pretty ordinary, I thought, for those 4 rounds, and he actually looked a little bit gassed, did Usyk, where Fury wouldn't have blown out a candle. So I thought at that stage of the fight that I would have to eat my words, because I thought Usyk would win a decision, and I thought he would just have too much speed, too much good footwork, lateral movement, but I was completely thrown that it was Tyson Fury doing exactly that to Usyk. But then the 7th round came about. I thought Usyk sort of got back into the fight. Next couple of rounds were close. I thought it was probably maybe one each. And then, of course, the 9th round is when all hell broke loose, because in what was not a bad round for Tyson Fury, he was caught with a beautiful thing. It was either a left hook or overhand left, whatever it was, but it shook Tyson Fury to his core. He was in all sorts of trouble. Usyk just found an extra leg and put all sorts of pressure on Tyson Fury. Almost had him out of there. And some of the shots that Tyson Fury took, just amazing. He had no right to stay up with those shots, even though Usyk is a cruiserweight coming up. Those were some big shots, and finally went down. The strange thing is, he didn't actually hit the canvas. The ropes held him up and he almost went down. There has been a little bit of talk on social media since the fight that it shouldn't have been a knockdown. Well, I can tell you 100% it should have been a knockdown. The rules are, if the ropes or corner or whatever it is stops you from going down, it is counted as a knockdown, and he was going down. So referee Mark Nelson had no reason not to call that a knockdown, and it was legitimate. And I thought he actually did Tyson Fury a bit of a favour by almost saving him from the barrage from Usyk, who I thought was going to get him out of there. And to his credit, he lasted the distance, and like a true champion, of course. And then we had the final 3 rounds to get through, and I thought Tyson Fury, found a little bit of a second wind, but Usyk just wouldn't be denied. Everything that Fury came at him with, Usyk would match him and go with him. Going into the last round, I think I had it 105, 103 in favour of Usyk, so Fury needed at least a knockdown to at least get a draw. I thought he did okay in the last round. I can't remember. No, I think I still gave it to Usyk, so I ended up having it 115, 112 as my final scorecard. But I just knew something was amiss. You could just feel it in your bones that something was going to happen, and it almost did. The official scorecards, Usyk 115, 112, so the same as I had it. The second judge had it 114, 113 for Usyk, and the third had it 114, 113 for Fury, which I just had to scratch my head as I literally scratched my head. So what it really means is if Usyk didn't get the knockdown in round number 9, we would have had a draw, because the scorecards would have read 115, 113 for Usyk, 115, 113 for Fury, and 114 apiece on the third scorecard, which I think just would have been a travesty. I think Oleksandr Usyk did more than enough to win this fight. I was a little bit disappointed after the fight in Tyson Fury's interview. Usyk was classy as always, of course. Just thanked everyone and was just more intent on getting home, I think. But for Tyson Fury, I think he started off okay with the interview, but then when he said that he thought he won the fight, of course he's going to say that, of course, and there's no surprise there. But when he said that one of the main reasons that Usyk got the decision is because of the war on Ukraine, I thought that was a long bow to draw, whatever they say. You know what I'm talking about. So I was disappointed in that. I would have thought that he would have accepted it, excuse the pun, but on the chin, taking it on the chin. But that was probably the only disappointing thing. But I get it. He's emotional. Boxers or sports people at that level have got massive egos. They cannot accept losing. So I understand that. I just didn't think he had to really roll that out, and I've just got a feeling he might cop a little bit about that. But anyway, as I said, these fighters get very emotional afterwards, but the main thing is it looks like we're going to have a rematch. I think they said October 12th after the fight, so I think if any fight deserves a rematch, it is this one. I think Tyson deserves his second crack at it. And I think obviously the fans will be looking forward to it, because it was a great fight. It really was. So much drama in the fight, maybe almost a little bit of controversy, but overall I just thought it was a fight that really lived up to its billing as the Ring of Fire, and Usyk, a very deserving winner. But also, I've got another level of respect for Tyson Fury as well. I thought he hung tough. He could have maybe been forgiven to go down and stay down in that 9th round, but he hung in there just like he did against Wilder and some other fights he's had as well. But super impressed with him, but more so with Usyk. He kept that focus right throughout the fight, no matter what Tyson Fury threw at him. And a little bit of vice versa. Tyson Fury, he probably just, for me, Fury, actually, when you think about it, I think he probably maybe didn't focus enough early on. He was, he was showboating. He was talking to the crowd. Maybe that was his way of getting himself up. I'm not quite sure, but Usyk right throughout the fight did not lose focus for 1 second. Nice and high guard. He was looking for those openings, didn't stop working, and didn't deviate from the game plan at all. And end of the day, that's ultimately what got him the decision. But yeah, as I said, just a great fight that lived up to the hype, and can't wait for the rematch on October 12th. It'll be interesting to see what Anthony Joshua does from here. Of course, he'll take another fight in the meantime, but against two. There is even talk already that the IBF might strip Usyk if he doesn't fight Joshua next, which means Joshua will fight for the title. Look, I normally applaud the IBF for taking a hard stance with the champions. In this case, absolutely not. I would be really pissed if they decide to strip Usyk of the fight, even though he's got the rematch with Tyson Fury. That should be for the 4 belts again, not for 3. And you never know, Anthony Joshua might maybe say, hey, let these guys fight for the 4 belts. As long as I'm next after that and I get my chance to fight for the 4 belts, let him go, because that would be really disappointing if it's only for 3 belts. But anyway, it's only a small thing. But what do you guys think? Put it in the chat or the comments down below. Who did you have winning the fight? How do you see the rematch going? And what did you think of the event in general? So until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. For those that watch the watch along, and look forward to seeing you next time on the Deep Dive YouTube channel.